Here's something that's really quite simple. Imagine a bunch of black or brown people covering their face and their eyes with sunglasses, walking around with the same kind of uniforms with a bunch of flags, saying a bunch of hateful words. How quickly do you think the cops would be called?
If they were black, they wouldn't have rented them to U-Haul. I can tell you that right now. Hey, shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. I'm Reese Waters, and this is Racist of the Week, where we explore the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we could build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And of course, if you have any nominees, you can drop them in the comments. You can email me at admin@reesewaters.com. Today's nominee, the Patriot Front. Now, here we are, just enjoying the breaking of the weather, this new season. The ancestors gave us some things to celebrate. And now we just back to our regularly scheduled 2025 program. We are disenfranchised. Masked white nationalists, Patriot Front, took over Kansas City, claim they are under attack, oppressed in America, and need to reclaim their nation. That sounds a lot like the white South Africans to me. I wonder if South Africa's taking any immigrants.
Strong words from city leaders today. That's after members of a controversial nationalist group rallied and marched in Kansas City. The group is called the Patriot Front. Civil rights nonprofit, the Southern Poverty Law Center, categorizes it as a hate group. Fox 4's Jacob Sloan shares reaction from people around the city.
On Memorial Day weekend, the Liberty Memorial is decorated to honor our troops. But yesterday, more flags appeared at the memorial from ralliers. These pictures show the group with faces covered, rallying at the memorial.
Wait a minute. I see upside down American flags. So is that, because you're not supposed to desecrate the flag? Isn't that the whole thing that they, I mean, unless you put like a football team, and you can put a football team and desecrate the flag that way. But other than that, you're not supposed to desecrate. Oh, that's only for brown folks? They can do it, though.
They carry shields and a variety of flags. Some are upside-down USA flags. Some carry the Betsy Ross flag from the 1700s. Others even hold the Confederate battle flag. The SPLC calls them a white nationalist hate group that split from the group who planned the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. That rally killed one person and injured many others.
Now, once we just skip right on past the patriotism of flying the Confederate flag, how about we address the fact, so they split from the group that was in Charlottesville? I tell you, man, these white supremacists just can't get along. Nah, cause we saw it with the Shiloh Hendricks thing, where the dude got kicked out and started his own. They just, you know what I mean? They need more unity. You know what I mean? Like a real sense of identity and pride in themselves.
The National World War I Museum and Memorial issued a statement to Fox 4 on Sunday, saying they respect the group's right to peaceful assembly and free speech, and want to be unequivocally clear that the views expressed by this group do not represent or align with our values. They continue to say they stand firmly against hatred, bigotry, and divisiveness in all forms. In a Facebook post on Saturday, Mayor Lucas also said, "While the First Amendment provides the right to bring any message to Kansas City, we know that our diversity, our welcoming community, and our respect for the rights of all reject whatever hate and cowardice come our way."
Now do Harrison Butker. Are we going to do? But you're not going to address Butker? Well, at least do Josh Hawley.
It's still unclear why the group chose Kansas City for their demonstration. We reached out to KCPD to see if they received any advance notice the rally was happening. We have not heard back.
You don't know why they picked Kansas City? You don't know why they picked Kansas City? Really, Kansas City? That's what y'all gonna go with? Y'all gonna have that whole hate tour that we saw last year from y'all, and you don't know why they would have picked Kansas City? Really? Yeah, baby, I don't know why she came to my job. I don't know her. No, I don't know why. And she knew my name too. That's crazy. Yeah. Huh? Oh, she must have guessed my number. I mean, it's only 9 digits, you know what I mean? It's not hard to just, to just pick a number and it be mine, and we have a long text exchange. I don't know.
We got footage of that group while they were at the Liberty Memorial before they began their march downtown. The group was in a uniform wearing tan hats, white masks covering their faces, navy blue shirts, tan pants, and boots.
Hey, no, he not matching. He not matching right there. No. Huh? Target sold out of those pants? Hey, I didn't know Target could sell out of those pants. Okay. All right.
Some were carrying shields. The flags they carried included upside-down American flags, the Confederate flag, and a flag that identifies the group as the Patriot Front. Kansas City, Missouri police have confirmed that as their identity. The Southern Poverty Law Center describes Patriot Front as a white nationalist hate group that broke off of a neo-Nazi group after the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in 2017. The SPLC says Patriot Front has destroyed murals dedicated to George Floyd and other victims of police violence and murals dedicated to civil rights leaders. They are also known to protest LGBTQ events. At the end of the march, we are told that those groups climbed into U-Haul box trucks and then left Kansas City. A viewer shared this video with us. The SPLC says the Patriot Front regularly uses box trucks like these to transport their members to protests.
Lord, if you love me right now, you'll flip that motherfucker, you hear me? If you fuck with me, G.O.D., you'll flip that motherfucker right now.
Kansas City, Missouri Police Department says it was unaware of the protest ahead of time. No arrests were made.
Now, I do want to give a shout out to the Kansas City Defender that was kind enough to give us a play-by-play.
You're not going to invade our men's privacy.
Your privacy? You're in public, bro. Why do you need to be private I thought you'd be proud of your opinions. Why you gotta cover up your face? Shouldn't you be proud of what you preach? Might want to shave that nose hair, bud. That's embarrassing.
Not to mention, I think you need a larger size. I don't think your lip's supposed to be pressing like that. Like, you look like you in some sort of 50 Shades of Grey reboot. That's not becoming. He out here looking like a dollar store mannequin where they just ran out of paint at the nose.
You're in public, bro. Why do you need to be private I thought you'd be proud of your opinions. Why you gotta private? Hey, have a good one, guys. Thanks for getting the fuck out of here. Please don't return.
Sir, you want my name?
Yeah, what's your name, bud?
Thomas Rousseau.
Thanks, Thomas. I bet you're trying to get famous with Trump for this.
What?
You gonna run for office now?
What?
You gonna run for office now? Are you from here?
All right, cool.
Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing?
You gotta wonder what kind of abuse people are subjected to in their regular everyday life for them to decide to spend their weekends going out of town to get screamed on by strangers. You know? In your good khakis and navy blue shirt. You what's going on at home that this was an improvement?
I got people from the whole country here.
That's how many it takes to get a couple hundred? The whole country. I don't see anything. That's embarrassing. Hey, have fun in that hot box, guys.
There was a lot embarrassing about that, I'll be honest. He wasn't wrong about, we get people from the whole country. We take 2 per state. Yeah, it's like Noah's Ark. It's like a Noah's Ark situation. The funniest, though, was the dude running in the security vest. Because first I thought he wasn't with them. But then he got into the... How do you think they decided who got the security vest? How do you think... Is he allowed to hate while being, the safety patrol? Like, is he allowed to hate? Or is he kind of like, is it like a designated driver situation? Like, he got to sit out. Man, it's my turn to be safety. Yeah, no, you know what I mean? And I really wanted to hate today. And I really wanted to hate today. But, I guess this builds character. You know, I have to give other people an opportunity. Now, if you thought it was a little odd as he ended that, good luck in that hot box that they all just got into the U-Haul like that and apparently weren't missing anybody. That is exactly what you saw.
First of all, thank you to the people of Kansas City who stood up to this. Because the police didn't do anything. They saw this and made no stops and no arrests. Now, this was all led by the guy you saw in the video, Thomas Rousseau. He gave a speech in front of the World War I Museum where he talked about how the United States is a white nation made for white people and they need to reclaim America. And these people are serious, especially under this administration. Those people have a training center in Tennessee. They train people on how to use weapons and hand-to-hand combat.
They got a whole training center. And it makes you wonder how that conversation went when they went to get them. Hey, we need a center where we can train people to utilize their voice. You know, it's like a self-defense kind of thing. And we're going to have a lot of flags and things up. And, Oh, you got a place? All right, yeah. And hey, and we going to need some security too because oh, you got one? Okay, all right. Good. Is it that Tyrone? Y'all got anybody else? Jabari? See, we need teams of three. We need teams of three. We need three and three that. Who? Jerome. We get our own security. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, don't worry about it. And by the way, can you keep them away from what we got going on?
That's how he was able to get 100 people from across the country. These are all people who wholeheartedly believe in the white supremacist ideology, and they're getting ready to take it further, especially under this administration.
Yesterday in Kansas City, the white nationalist group Patriot Front marched outside the National World War I Museum, carrying their flags. Of course, they were masked because they're cowards to hide their identity. And, you know, they had a police escort, which is always sort of interesting. I mean, I guess it's First Amendment rights, but it seems like hate speech to me. And I know they're a designated hate group. So I'm not sure why they give them, police escorts. The video I saw, they were leaving town. There was, I guess, a couple hundred of them, and they left in just regular like U-Haul moving trucks. And, you know, each moving truck had probably 20 or 30 of these guys in them, and the police escorted them out of town. That seems like they're breaking all kinds of laws with all these guys without seatbelts, and they just, no problem. There were no arrests made. And these guys are such cowards, obviously, because they always have their faces covered, but nobody knew that they were coming. So there was no like counter protests. And I mean, these guys, you see them in their khaki pants and their, polo shirts with the white, those white masks that they wear now are just the 2025 version of the white hoods. These are the Triple K members. And, Trump and his white nationalist regime have made it okay for these guys to expose themselves, although they're still, too cowardly to show their faces. But still, they're brazen. They're out there marching. It's all because of this administration. He's emboldened these people.
No doubt. This administration definitely has greased the skids for this kind of behavior, but no doubt making sure to tamp down on protesters, especially those that are anti-American, the flag upside down or representing a faction that went to war with the U.S. government. That sounds pretty anti-American to me, but these protesters are fine, though. They are being so blatant about their double state. Like, they're not even, this is like racism and white supremacy for beginners. This is like color by numbers white supremacy. Like there's no misdirection. There's no doublespeak. There's no, classified actions. Well, I'm sure there's classified actions, but there's enough that's happening right in front of our faces for us to be able to put it together in real time. They're not even trying to hide this.
Just so I can get this right, people who are protesting the treatment of Palestinians in Gaza are being arrested and deported. But there can be white nationalists waving Confederate flags, chanting hateful rhetoric in the streets of a downtown metropolis like Kansas City. Got it.
And isn't that weird? Not a single arrest. Not one.
So how many was it? How many ICE agents took their weekend off so they could march with the Proud Boys in Kansas City? A dozen?
Now I get the whole idea of make it America great again. Because I remember back in the day, you could be this blatant in your racism and your double standards. Like they used to not try back in the day because they didn't have to. And then we kind of elevated in terms of our standards. And then they had to go with Southern strategy and all this other kind of stuff. That now I get so it was just about being able to be racist the entire time. Yes. Okay. Well, you know what? I can tell you lessons were definitely learned throughout the course of history. Because one thing I can tell you is we understand good and well how this double standard works.
Here's something that's really quite simple. Imagine a bunch of black or brown people covering their face and their eyes with sunglasses, walking around with the same kind of uniforms with a bunch of flags, saying a bunch of hateful words. How quickly do you think the cops would be called?
If they were black, they wouldn't have rented them to U-Haul. I can tell you that right now. They wouldn't have rented them to U-Haul because they would have known that they're going to pick up so many tickets by the time they make it all the way down to Kansas City that the paperwork is just going to be a disaster. Now you know if they were black.
And why was that not the same response given in Kansas City or any other time that these idiots walk the streets in their khakis and their blue shirts? Could there be a problem in this country? There it is. Yeah, now we agree, right? Weird.
I'll tell you what the problem is people exhibiting behavior that would not be tolerated from other groups while complaining about being disenfranchised and needing to reclaim the country. While doing the thing that only they can do. And calling somebody else snowflakes.
So apparently a group of coward, I won't even call them men because a real man would not be doing such a thing, right? So we have a group of white nationalists who call themselves the Patriot Front. These white supremacists are feeling way too comfortable walking down the streets with their Confederate flags, with the hate speech, thinking that it is okay. And of course, police are not going to do anything. They're not being questioned. And since the police don't see anything wrong with it, and they're not doing anything because there's nothing wrong with it, we have to be ready. You know what I'm saying? We have to do what the people in Lincoln Heights did, right? Because wasn't it in February that the white supremacists marched over the bridge and, with the Confederate flags talking a lot of nonsense in Ohio?
Oh, yeah. I definitely remember that. Yeah. Each and every piece of that one, the pushback and the follow through. Yes, I remember all of that. What I also remember from that, they were in a U-Haul. They were in a U-Haul there too. And then when the Yahtzees was over in Nashville, they was in a U-Haul.
Unless U-Haul wants their new slogan to be "We haul racists," they better stop letting these schmaltzy motherfuckers use their shit. Because, frankly, we'll fucking do to U-Haul what we're doing to fucking Tesla and Target if they want to be the fucking face and brand of white supremacy in America. Get the fuck together.
Just a reminder that it only takes a quick second to Google what the police department's phone number is. So I actually called the Kansas City Police Department and I asked them, I said, is it a law in Kansas City that you must have a safety belt for every single passenger inside of a vehicle? The woman said yes. I said, is it against the law to have people standing inside of the back of a U-Haul and having it drive away? She said, yes. I said, if a police officer was on site and witnessed people piling into the back of a U-Haul, should they all get tickets? She said, yes. And I said, then why is it that there is a protest happening in Kansas City with Kansas City Police Department on site witnessing it, watching people file into a U-Haul and drive away, and no ticketing was happening? She said, I'm not sure that should have happened. They're in on it, guys.
You gotta love the game of hot potato going on between U-Haul and the police. Like, we didn't know what the U-Haul's rules was. Hey, that's the rules anywhere on the road. Does that look safe to you? Well, we were trying to respect U-Haul freedom of speech. So we didn't want to violate nobody's freedom of speech. So we want to protect U-Haul's freedom of speech, and that's why we didn't do nothing. Also, I recognized some shoes in there, so I didn't, you know what I mean? I figured I would stay out of it. Well, once they leave our lot, we don't know what they're going. We expect the police to be the police, and not racist and biased. So we got nothing to do, huh? Yeah, they came, and plus we didn't even see, because they came in with the mask. They came in with the. Well, I didn't know they were white supremacists. I didn't. I thought they might have been bank robbers. So yeah, I didn't want to infringe on their freedom of speech to rob banks. We didn't. So we just we let them do it. And then if they do it, then we will say no. Don't take our trucks for hate today. Again. Come back tomorrow.
KMBC9's Krista Tatchell is live at Union Station getting answers about why they were in town and how they were allowed to use the trucks. Krista?
Yeah, Kelly, the people who rented these trucks, they're from the group Patriot Front. Now, U-Haul has released a statement to me saying that is an absolute violation of their company policy to transport human beings in the cargo holds, and they have revoked the rental privileges of those who rented those trucks in Kansas City. But this is not the first time that this group has used trucks to transport humans.
Now, I have addressed this before, I believe, in Nashville, trying to figure out exactly how all this play out. Like all the dudes in the mask just waiting in the parking lot while the one dude goes in and rent the U-Haul. Do they go around the corner before everybody gets in the back? Do they all meet at their destination and then get in the U-Haul just to go to the downtown where they can disturb the most people? I have lots of questions, but certainly U-Haul, you have absolutely been here before. But I find it fascinating, this hot potato between the police and U-Haul about who exactly it was that allowed blatant law breaking and rule breaking happen for all to see, and nothing was done. So what we have here is some people's First Amendment rights being trampled just by virtue of you don't like what they're saying. And then on the other hand, you have other people who you're hiding behind, we're protecting their First Amendment rights, so we leave them alone, to the point of even allowing them to break laws while doing absolutely nothing.
While forgetting that country for which they fought and died. They fought for a nation that was proud of its heritage.
So heritage, the nation that was proud of it. So you want to go back to like how far you want to go back? Because I don't think they're that proud of its heritage, because we don't even like to talk about its heritage. Like, so what do you? That sounds real. CRT is what you're talking about. You don't want to get into the heritage of that. We don't like to talk about that. No.
That was unashamed to say that America was built by and for the descendants of the European race.
Yeah. So you said it was built by and for. I think you just meant for. Yeah. I think you think you just meant 4. Yeah. Well, then start over then. Nobody told you write it in pen.
America was built by and for the descendants of the European race that was unafraid to say that we have a culture deeply steeped in the Anglo-Saxon traditions of our forebears. Did our ancestors storm the forests of the Argonne, the beaches of Normandy, or the cliffs of Okinawa so that their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren could be despised minorities in their own home, driven from the cities they built, denied the very same rights they were supposedly dying to protect? The greatest tragedy is not the endless ranks of dead, the orphans and the widows, but for all their sacrifice, they were betrayed.
Now, it would have seemed unthinkable to me for people to talk about, for people to look up and see Donald Trump and his orange hat under his red hat, with Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance next to him, and Elon Musk packing his stuff up. Like, it would be crazy to me that somebody can look up and see that and talk about needing to reclaim the country, like needing to reclaim it, well, much of anything, if not for the white South Africans. They really changed the paradigm. Like, for you to own 10 times more of the land and resources than your population suggests you should, and still feel systemically disenfranchised, that really tilts what I would expect to be a reasonable tantrum, you know? And I have to think about reasonable tantrum, but I have little kids, you know what I mean? So I think, is this tantrum reasonable? And it would have seemed completely unreasonable. It still seems completely unreasonable. But then when you look at them, you like, God damn. Well, that's really crazy.
100 white mass nationalists marched through Kansas City over the weekend, and not one arrest was made. And they're not covering it up or hiding it. It's in the local newspaper. No arrest made after a white nationalist group, Patriot Front, march in Kansas City, Missouri. Of course, the video is circulating all over social media. Once again, them jumping out of the U-Haul, best they can do. Of course, the police is escorting these people. You just had the FBI put together a task force to go down to Memphis, Tennessee, clean up neighborhoods. And again, I ask the same questions. Where is the outrage when it comes to hate crimes? I is in the task force pursuing these people. They have a whole name out here. Patriotic Front. That's their name. Members of the Patriotic Front rallied at the Liberty Memorial in Kansas City on Saturday. Pictures show the group with masks on, carrying various signs and shields. That turned the United States flag upside down. Others were carrying Confederate flags. And again, these people did not sneak in quietly. They started from the Liberty Memorial, going all the way down to the crossroads, chanting, "Reclaim America." Reclaim it from who? From the very people who built this country, who built this culture? The National WWI Museum issued the following statement on Sunday. The National WWI Museum in Memorial is aware of yesterday's gathering on the public grounds surrounding our institution. We respect First Amendment protections for peaceful assembly and free speech, and want to be unequivocally clear that the views expressed by this group do not represent or align with our values. We stand firm against hated bigotry, divisiveness in all forms. Mayor Quinton Lucas issued a similar statement on Facebook. But my thing is, you don't get to use us when you want to monetize off of us. It's okay for us to come into your environment to buy from you. You guys can sell to us, but protect us in any way when it comes to hate. And we actually need to get together as a people. Remember, this is how they feel about us. We will outnumber hate with unity. Our voices will be heard. Youth will be protected. How is this allowed?
We are going to be asking that question about so many things that happened in 2025 and 26. And we won't have a reasonable answer other than Trump 47 about how this is allowed. But to the extent to which Black people and Blackness is not protected, she was 1,000% right in that regard. And quite frankly, it's angering and a little astounding to me as I listen to that, how desensitized I am to how unprotected we continue to be.
Well, folks, the baby men marched again. They came in their U-Haul trucks, shoulder to shoulder, packed in, all snug as a bug in a rug. I wonder when they're all squeezed in there in the dark if they sing John Denver songs to pass the time. Maybe The Sound of Silence, but sung deep and emo like the way The Disturbed sings it. I wonder if they worry about body odor, or if they all go a little too heavy on the Axe body spray on public marching days. Well, clearly they're tightening up their matchy-matchy styling. It looks like somebody got a good deal on blue button-down shirts and white masks. The pants are another story. Given the big and tall stature of some of the baby men, it's probably not easy to find a brand of khaki pants that scale up and down enough to fit all of the tough body types, but clearly they've all been told to wear tan pants, and they do their best. The white masks make them look a little bit like country club tapeworms or uncircumcised schneedles, which seems appropriate. Anywho, they brought their standard marching band flags and, of course, the shields. Nothing says I mean business like a baby man playing twinsy with all his buds while carrying a big-ass superhero shield. It's kind of the perfect encapsulation of a poor, pathetic, narcissistic, mediocre man. He gets his relevance from the group. The man model gives him a place and a purpose. The group does his thinking. He doesn't even have to pick out his own clothes. He feels persecuted, so he must band together with fellow persecutees and protect his tender ego with a shield. He has to wave a big bad flag to get noticed, but he doesn't have the bravery to show his face in case he gets in trouble. He doesn't even know what he wants, but he wants everyone to pay for how sad, mad, and bad he feels inside. He has to slather himself in the brethren's adrenaline and cause a scene, just because he can. To him, chanting "Reclaim America" means make me feel virile and relevant for a hot minute because I never got laid in high school. The handlers are smart. They keep the flash mobs short so they can scurry away before any of the baby men have an anxiety attack or need to use the potty. Well, one thing to keep in mind, folks, is that baby men like this put a lot of practice into these marching macho man performances. I'd guess they have twice a week 3-hour rehearsals, including graham cracker and juice breaks. They might even have a monthly sewing group where they gather to mend the holes in their uniforms. I'll bet they have a quarterly newsletter with a white nationalist crossword puzzle, favorite recipes, and the mandatory rehearsal schedule for the upcoming few months. Word is the rules are strict. If you miss 2 consecutive baby man rehearsals, you don't get to go to the next march. That stings. Well, the inside scoop is that the baby men are not happy with the amount of attention they're getting. When they chip in to rent U-Hauls, they want good PR so they can attract more baby men, but they're just not garnering the buzz they're looking for. Rumor is they're looking to incorporate some singing into the performances. Songs in the running are "Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee" from Grease, "Set Fire to the Rain" by Adele, and "Drops of Jupiter" by Train. But none of those have turned out to be easily timed for tough guy marching, so they're still working on it. It's funny because you can tell these guys live for this kind of cosplay. I just think if they gave the communities a heads up that they were coming, they might get a better sense of just how much attention they could garner. Sure, they might end up marching through crowds of people who came out just to laugh in their faces, but if anyone knows a negative response is better than no response, it's baby men like these guys. And deep down, you have to wonder if they don't all have a little bit of a humiliation fetish anyway. Well, baby men, keep working on those shields, and then have the day you deserve. Yeah.
But I got to give a shout out to the people that were there on the ground who absolutely weren't having it, and creators like Dana here, who gave the baby men the treatment that they absolutely deserve. As far as Kansas City is concerned, don't look at me and tell me we don't know why they picked Kansas City. Wow, when they did show up, y'all did absolutely nothing. So they certainly did pick the right one now, didn't they? I wonder how that happened. We ain't done. Nah, because I did 3 of these things. When they showed up in Cincinnati, I did 3 of these things. Nah, I'll be back. Before the Chiefs season starts, believe that. Is it Jason Whitlock from Kansas City? I knew it. Now we know why they ended up in Kansas City. Jason Whitlock. Ask Jason Whitlock. The place that gave us Jason Whitlock, I think, is going to be a welcome home for white supremacy. You know what I mean? I ain't Ain't no crazy math to do there. Hey, special shout out to everybody who joined me at our last Members Live. I done lost weeks of my life watching the most ratchet content you can ever imagine. That's just, I feel like it's a palate cleanser for me. Now, we're going to be doing a whole lot more of these. It is available to everybody who's in deep water or troubled water, and there's a link to membership in the description box to all of the videos. This is, of course, in addition to my regular Tuesday lives every week at 8 p.m. It's the irony of all the sinning that's going on in administration. They don't pay attention to it, and they put the chief of sinner among us. Like the chief sinner among us is the one that's supposed to be spreading this Christian nationalism. And that's wow. You know what I mean? Like, what a comment on our world today. Now, speaking of troubled waters, we have a very deep and growing archive of content, even some old stand-up clips. Although I call it stand-up. I don't know if the people that were actually there would call it comedy at all. I am happy to be here on the last weekend. Period. But we haven't actually added to the archive in a couple of months, and we're going to rectify that over the next few weeks, which makes this a perfect time to binge watch old videos if that is your preference, or you can join Troubled Waters and get a look at what the full archive complement actually looks like. And for those of you that are already members, I did post the links to the free trial for Patreon in the community tab, so make sure you check those out as well. Now, before I go, I would like to send a plea out to the ancestors. I see y'all on the rampage, and it has even come here home to D.C. I have no idea who used to own my home. I don't, and I am not responsible. I don't even know them. I got nothing to do with them. So I don't know if you want what you want me to do. You want me to put something on the door or leave a light on upstairs or just y'all send me a sign. You know what I mean? Just let me know what I need. You want me to put Soul Brother Black on? Like, tell me something.